get right into it. This is an impromptu live stream, so I will stop right there. But if you all are coming in, I will acknowledge the people. Right, I will acknowledge the people that are saying hello by highlighting your name. All right. So again, I'm known in the critic and the financial words, the queen of credit, because of the results that I help people get with their personal credit and transition it from personal credit to business credit. So I think I'm going to start with Joe Biden right off the bat and his plan for the big three credit agencies, right? The big three credit agencies. So let's share that. Again, thanks to my followers or follower on Facebook for sharing this article with me to share with you all. Mr. Tillman, I can't pronounce his first name, but Mr. Tillman is pretty long first name. So I saw this, right? And then we're going to go into Dogecoin and silver and cryptocurrency as well, right? So this article, it was published by The Balance. Is Biden to move, right? Biden to move to fire the big three credit bureau. So what does this mean for people with their credit or doing at FICO 10? Because I knew FICO 10 was a bigger picture than what was being publicized, right? Than what was being publicized. And so I knew that credit changes would come, and this is why I got into cryptocurrencies, right? This is why I got into the studying and the researching of cryptocurrencies, and this really opened up a whole new world, right? So TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, the three credit reporting bureaus, as this article refers to, but I call them agencies because most people relate or, mentally think when you say bureaus that these are federal companies or federal institutions, but they're just really big businesses, right? That monopolize people through the credit world. And I'm going to show you all how African Americans and minorities, right, are affected through this article. So this article goes on to read, will be rivaled or perhaps even replaced by a national public credit reporting agency if President Joe Biden's campaign trail promise comes to fruition. I really believe this is true. That's why we haven't seen all the phase and facets of FICO 10, right? Under Biden's plan, the three private, again, I told you our private companies, don't know why they refer to them as bureaus. They're supposed to be referred to as private companies, but under Biden's plans, right, the three private companies would no longer monopolize. This is another word, right, that we discussed on yesterday, on my live stream on yesterday, that what is the definition of monopoly? What is the meaning of monopoly, right? Well, monopoly is when big businesses have complete possession or control of the supply or the demand or the trade, right, in their service areas, right? So that's a monopoly where they take out the small businesses, and it also causes financial distress and hyper inflation, which means the increase of pricing of goods and services, meaning they can set their pricing of servicing at any price that they choose, right? Now, if you're not familiar with Monopoly, just think of the board game Monopoly, right? Where when you play Monopoly, the players engage in or buying property, right? Simulating that they're buying property and financial dealings using imitation money. Just think of the board game Monopoly. I don't have it, or do I? I used to keep this imitation money on me because I was teaching youth the difference between real money, which is gold and silver, and paper currency or fiat money. So I used to have it's not on my desk, but I used to have Monopoly money to show them, and I would ask them what is the difference between Monopoly money and cash or fiat currency, right? Controlled by the government. So this is the game of Monopoly. So it shows you the power of purchasing real assets like like property, right? And having real assets over paper currency or paper cash. So when it comes to monopoly of business, right, a specific business or enterprise or supplier of a particular service or products, right, can take out the middleman, which is small businesses, and they control the entire market of the goods and services that you purchase or we the consumers can purchase, and also the pricing. So they have Joe Biden is playing, he's recognizing the credit agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian as monopolizing credit report, meaning they make billions off of your bad credit. I've always told you all that it's more lucrative for them to report your bad credit than versus you having good credit, right? I've always told you all of that. I've always told you what the game was, and why it's such a hard fight or struggle to remove negative items from your credit report. And I've always told you all, do not believe that these do-it-yourself products are really equipped to help you with negative or derogatory items on your credit report, right? So back to Joe Biden. Credit scores have a discriminatory effect against African Americans, Latino communities. Numerous research studies have shown. I've discussed with you all also about redlining and discrimination with credit, right? I told you all again that debt is anything that's consumer based, meaning that you purchase things with debt that's that takes money out of your pockets, that are assets. They're not providing you a means to have cash flowing coming into you but away from you. But credit is a tool or a leverage in order, just like the game of Monopoly, to have real assets with fake currency and fake money. And so we're going to get into this about Dogecoins. Elon Musk tweeted that Dogecoin is the people money. So is Dogecoin the people money, or would it be gold or silver that's really the people's money, right? So let's get back to the article and let's get back to credit. So now Joe Biden's moved to fire the big three credit agencies because they have been monopolizing. There have been a monopoly private businesses for years, right? For entities. Well, not years or entities, but you do know that 1970s was the Fair Credit Reporting Act was created in order to protect consumers, people like you and me. So concerns about credit have taken on a new urgency because policymakers fear that the pandemic could impact future people's future credit worthiness due to economic hardships and no fault of their own. It goes on to read that, for example, on Twitter back in March, Vice President Kamala Harris, then a senator, called for all negative credit reporting to be suspended, right, during the pandemic, and also consumer complaints to the CFPD. The CFPD is Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, which is also a tool or weapon for you and get negative items removed. That the negative items more than doubled in 2020, right? Negative items being placed on people's credit report doubled in 2020. So this article goes on to state that credit is a part of public infrastructure, something that we rely on to thrive in this economy. Now, this is further showing proof that the dollar will be devalued. And eventually, my prediction by 2023, totally destroyed, because the United States is totally based on a credit-based system, right? Meaning that as the dollar loses its purchasing power, right, your pricing for your everyday goods and services will be increased by these monopoly businesses. Jeff Bezos just currently stepped down as the CEO is Amazon, and Andy Jassy, right, is now the new CEO, who also is a creator of blockchain technology, right? But Jeff Bezos, for example, has become a trillionaire right, since this pandemic. So Amazon has been very lucrative, and I'm going to show you all a history of John D. Rockefeller's, Henry Ford, right, that also took advantage, right, as people were struggling to pay their bills, as losing their homes, losing their wherever they resided in, their apartment, their condo. And you had these monopoly businessmen that became very lucrative. And so all of their money, pretty much, they make all of the money and they suck it up like an uh I can't. But they take, I can't think of what I want to say. Octopus, right? They suck it up. They have leeches like an octopus, and they take all the money from the middle class and more money from the poor working middle class, and it then trickles up to Wall Street, right? It then trickles up to Wall Street. Patrick says, thank you so much, King Kings. Thank you for being a Patreon member. I'm seeing more Patreon members on the channel supporting. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all supporting the information and the knowledge and the work. I have 2 Patreon videos posted. I'm going to post more about cryptocurrency as well in my Patreon channel. So thank you all for my Patreon members, right? Thank you so much. The last video that I uploaded was about Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla. And yes, Tesla as in Tesla that Elon Musk run. And I'm going to briefly touch about cryptocurrency, Nikola Tesla, and energy, right? And where we are headed in this new industrial revolution. Patrick questions it, are you saying the fiat dollar and stock market will crash? Yes, I am. Now, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm saying that the fiat dollar and the stock market will crash by the end of the year. So what does that mean for your 401k, especially for the people that have public offerings 401k, meaning that they cannot transition those stocks into a savings in order to prevent having loss, thousands of dollars of loss from their 401ks, years of their labor wiped away. Or people that have pensions, right? Pensions, whether you're in the public school system or work for a U.S. Postal, not USPS, but the delivery, UPS, right? I'm not used to this noon live stream, so I had to get my brain functioning. UPS, right? Pensions wiped away. And why? Because they have to get the money from somewhere to pay off this national debt, right? Have you ever asked yourself, right, that the stimulus plan does not equals or equivalents to trillions of dollars, right? They're even or in discussions of minimizing the income level to qualify for the $1,400 stimulus, right? Which is now they're looking at persons that make under $50,000, right? And or 75,000 if you claim head of household. So this money to reset this currency system, money is never lost. It's simply transferred. It's never lost, people. It's simply transferred. So you have to get in the wealth transfer now to position yourself. This is not going to be a 2008 hiccup, right? This is going to make 2008 look like a flesh wound. This is going to be a long economic great reset and a changing, a flip-flop of our currency. The fiat dollar, the paper dollar, will now be a digital dollar. It will now be a digital dollar. It will no longer be the world reserve currency. Now, will it still be a powerful currency for the United States? Yes, it will. But you have the digital yuan in China. You have other digital currencies that will all have their own digital currency. Then everything will be connected to a stable coins, which then will be connected to central banks, right? So that means that our global domestic production, GDP, will greatly take a hit. And so will the job market. 60% of Americans, I explained this in my Patreon channel, jobs will be forever lost, permanently lost. And you have to shift, right, into artificial intelligence and more technology job sectors, in which I shared last night on my live stream, that most and many people are unskilled and unqualified for. So you would have to learn another skill. Monique says, can I send the link for the Patreon channel? Y'all, let me try to stay focused. I may not answer too many questions so I can stay focused, right? I'm trying to keep my live streams a little shorter than usual, but I do like to take out time to answer some questions that I think that I can answer, right, for you all. So let me share this link to this Patreon channel, and then we'll get right back into Joe Biden's and his plan to fire the big three credit agencies. I told you all that all of this is headed to blockchain, right? The stock market is going to take a dip. It's going to be on blockchain technology. No companies, no control. Like the Robin Hood effect, where Robin Hood can dictate who can trade, who cannot trade, how many shares or options you can put in, you can buy. This is all going to be on blockchain, and it's going to appear, right, that people will have more control. And what's even more amusing about it is that the people will pretty much beg for this. This is what they say they will want, right? And thinking that it will do good to the economy, but it won't. They're going to be under the perception or the paradigm that no middleman, no monopoly businesses like Amazon, right? Like the three credit agencies. And this, if you're not positioning yourself, if you are still hoarding cash currencies, right? If you are not making your money grow, is going to be worse than the Great Depression of the 1930s for a lot of people who are not prepared. So back to the article, right? Back to the article. Credit ratings rule the financial lives of consumers, dictating what kind of mortgage they can get, how much they can pay for a car loan, the terms of borrowing money, and other factors. So what it's going to do now, put you in fintech companies that require no government issue ID, no FICO score, but it will require collateral such as cryptocurrency and assets, right? So now back to this. Biden's campaign materials do not go into great detail how the agency will work, right? Now every transaction you make is going to be taxed and going to be traced, people. Everything you do, tax and trace. See, cash currently right now cannot be always taxed or traced. So the new public credit agency would aim to minimize racial disparities, for example, by ensuring the algorithm, people listen to the language. In these articles, I always state this. It says it referred to it as the new public credit agencies. This blockchain cryptocurrency would aim to minimize racial disparities. Racial disparities have been around since slavery, right? You have Wells Fargo, known as Wells Fargo today, that opened Freedmen's Bank and stole the slaves' wealth, right? They were looking for credit to expand and grow, and to be free from slavery. And Freedmen's Bank, also known as Wells Fargo, stole millions of dollars of their wealth in the 1800s. So imagine what that amount would be today in 2021. So it's telling you that these new credit agencies will minimize racial disparities, ensuring algorithms for credit scoring have non-discriminatory impact, right? Accepting non-traditional sources of data like rental histories and utility bills now to establish credit, right? So, excluding things, it would exclude things like medical bills from credit scores, that includes FICO, and instead using utility bills, for example, the scores could better show how reliable consumers pay their bills by reflecting the efforts of, or they trying to say it will perpetuate, right, racial discrimination. You can already see now and experience, right, they're asking you to plug in your utility bills and your rent payments to help increase your credit score. They're already getting you programmed and mentally conditioned for that. So it's going to create a public credit register or registry and make changes to the credit reporting alone, right? And is they're calling it. Let me show you the article. They're calling it a historic discrimination. This going on since the test of time of discrimination in the credit agencies. But again, they always make things appear to be in the best interest of the consumer. But this is going to be a higher tracking device, right? Higher tracking device. And so this, let me highlight this. Creating a public credit registry and making changes to the credit reporting alone are not going to be enough to reverse historic discrimination, but they need other social changes and to help minimize discriminatory impact, right? Again, this is just a proposal. This was written in the September article as well. Let's see where this, I believe the proposal will come to play. And this is why people have time, right? You have time, even though everything is happening expeditiously, speedily, you still have time to get this done. Now let's talk about silver and Dogecoin, and more so you all can understand the monopolized businesses, where we are headed, right, in this new economic reform or revolution. Now, when I say new economic revolution, let me explain to you all the first, second, third, and fourth changes, right? Changes, or let me show you what I mean of the resets or changes that have already happened that you all may not understand. So I had, let me see, can I pull that picture up? And while I'm trying to find it, I'm going to share this with you. This is a quote by Chris Rock. We're talking about monopoly businesses. Pull up my Facebook page. Let me edit this so the public can see. Good deal. So this quote by Chris Rock that I posted on my Facebook page states, if people knew, right, how rich, he said that twice. If people knew how rich people are, right, there would be riots in the streets. There will be riots in the street. And I'm trying to find, let me see, can I find this picture? So let's get into the, let me share this so I can show you all what I mean by industrial revolution and the changes that's coming about, right? And the changes that's coming about as I just sent that to my email, right? The changes that's coming about that I just sent to my email account. When I'm referring to, we're in the fourth industrial revolution. This is what I mean. You have the cyber physical systems, also known as AI, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, excuse me, cryptocurrency, right? Excuse me. So then you have the third revolution, 3.0, where there was a shift from electronic IT systems, automation came into play, right? Then you have the second revolution. This is when the Henry Fords and J.P. Morgan and steel industries, right, came about to become billionaires. Mass production and electricity, right? Mass production and electricity. Then the first revolution was mechanics, mechanism. You still have farms and farmers, but you have steam and water power. People, now we are shifting into solar energy power. Solar energy power, as well as cryptocurrency and blockchain. A lot of times people ask or they want to know, um, well, does Bitcoin, for example, use too much energy, right? We're shifting to electronic vehicles and now to solar energy. People, there's all types of energy, right? There's all types of energy. And where this came from was not just Nikola Tesla, right? He was a great scientist, and people know what happened upon his death in my Patreon channel. But Nikola Tesla got this desire to study the ancient Egyptians and the Great Pyramid and the study of energy and its impact. So Nikola Tesla just studied or researched what ancient Egyptians, the mysterious structure built thousands of years ago, about learning about the hidden power of energy, right? Ancient Egyptians. Nikola Tesla gets the credit for the United States, but he just studied the Great Pyramids, um, built by ancient Egyptians 4,500 years ago. And they call it the seven wonder of the world, the power of energy, right? The power of energy and what it does to the economy by making, again, the poor middle class, working middle class poorer, and the rich richer, right? So what do I mean by making the rich richer, right? What do I mean? The Jedi, thank you all. Make sure you all hit the thumbs up and you hit like and hit share. Let me read some of these comments. I see a OMG. Monique says, OMG, I just request distribution of my 401k this morning. Yes, Queen, I'm correct. I lost thousands of dollars from my 401k. Exactly. After 28 years, your labor and wealth is for some people, is about to be wiped away in a matter of months or weeks ahead, right? Monique says, thank you for the knowledge you bring. If it were not for you, your channel, I would have been possibly been heartbreak. I think heartbreak, or maybe you're saying, I don't know, heartbroken in about 10 years, or well, for a lot of people, it's going to be within a matter of 10 months, right? So let's talk about monopoly businesses, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, other big businesses. Did you all ever question why Walmart, for example, Home Depots or Kroger could not close, but your other small businesses had to close during this health reset? For some reason, the Rona did not travel into big businesses, but only the small businesses and certain locations. So you have this from Rockefeller to Ford. In 1918, the ranking of the richest people in America, right? John D. Rockefeller was America's first billionaire. This him picture enjoys around the golf. So this is during the second industrial revolution, monopoly businesses, while right in the midst of a recession where people were hungry, did not have job, and did not have work. So you have John D. Rockefeller, Carnegie, right? Andre Carnegie. We talk about Andre Carnegie and Rockefeller's combination of not allowing you all to learn about credit and real money in schools. You got Vanderbilt, right? The railroads. You got banking, H.R. Green, just a whole list. J.P. Morgan, Charles Schwab, and the steel And look at the banking industry, real estate. Then you had cotton, right? James Stillman, I talk about that if it was not for the invention of Eli Whitney's cotton gin, that America would not have been great. And that's what the Industrial War was about. The Civil War was about. His invention caused America to prosper because it was able to produce cotton at a faster rate and a more lucrative pricing, right? Farm machinery. This is the Industrial Revolution, people. We are in an Industrial Revolution shift. It is shifting. It is transitioning. So cryptocurrency is not just a revenue to grow your cash. It is assets at this point. If you select the correct cryptocurrency, there's 8,000 in which people will need to grow at an expeditious rate for those who want to survive what we are about to, or what globally, right? This is not, will not just be a United States thing. So Mr. Rockefeller said, if I could be turned into cash and distributed equally, which it could, right? And give it to every man, woman, and child in the United States, $10 each, right? Rockefeller is famous saying it still would end up in his hands, back into his hands, even if he did that. Because he's saying, I gave away more than 500 million during his lifetime, which is equal to about 8 billion today. And he says, why? Because a lot of people don't know how to change with the economy. They don't want to study money. They don't want to study the shifts. And, for most people, money is a boring subject. They don't want to change. They want to stay in their old ways and thinking that their job is not going anywhere and that the economy is not changing, that this is just a conspiracy theory, right? And hopefully I can clock in to my job, my employer give me a check, and I can just make it paycheck to paycheck. Or as Dr. Lynn Richardson say, paycheck to Monday, meaning people get paid Friday and by Monday that they're broke. Many people have money in 401ks, for example. They have no idea how 401k work. They don't even take out the time, right, to learn how a 401k work, but yet they put their money in it. Don't know how it works, really, especially if it's in a combination of mutual funds, right? Don't know what combination of mutual funds that is in. And yet, that's what they do. Let's look at the article. I shared the quote with you all by Chris Rock. The real villain behind this new age, right? Our new age. This was in 2018. The comedian Chris Rock once said, if poor people knew how rich people are, there will be riots in the street. That's why I'm like, Democrat, Republicans, have you all taken out the time, for example, to look at the net worth of Nancy Pelosi? She's a multi-millionaire. Have you looked at the net worth of Joe Biden? He's a multi-millionaire, people. So what laws will they pass will be in their best interest, right? Will be in the best interest of millionaires and billionaires. And if you're Jeff Bezos, trillionaires. So in the past 2 decades, growth rates in the United States have fallen off. In the 20th centuries, this is the new Gilded Age, right? So this is what Monopoly is. I talked about the octopus. This was in the 1800s. Political cartoon artists showing the Standard Oil industries and the great monopolies just sucking out and leaching out and pushing and spreading poverty, making the poor poorer and the rich richer. So this is Rockefeller Standard Oil. I'm just telling you all, history may not repeat itself, right? But it often rhymes. History may not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So why does it take me? Because I have to teach to get you all knowledgeable about what's going on. right? I have to teach to let you know cryptocurrency is not just a phase. It's not just a overinflated bubble that's about to burst. It's the new digital way of banking and finance. Just like I showed you in the 1800s that the banking and finances of JP Morgan and those rich coons became richer. So this is another article. Is monopoly bad for the economy? Right? And it shows that no doubt monopolies, and this is why Bill Gates stepped down from Microsoft, right? And now he's into farmland. They're going to control also what we eat. And now he's into out of bank stocks and into gold and silver stocks. A lot of these commercial banks will not last. I showed you out earlier. They're going to shift the way credit is done. Fintech companies that's not even dependent on your FICO credit score, but rather your assets. And it says how you pay your rent and utilities. What about the millions of Americans that will no longer have a place to live? So it says, no doubt, monopolies discriminate the consumer by changing higher pricing to their product because they are the sole owner of these products and convert all the consumer surplus to the producer surplus, which is Wall Street, and create dead weight and a lost economy, reduce social welfare. Monopolies is bad, people. Monopolies is bad. Let me see if I can pull up this article real quick. Then I'm going to spend the last 5, maybe 10 minutes into Dogecoins. But I want to share with you all billionaires that that wealth grew during this pandemic, per se, right? Billionaires that wealth grew up, that profited heavily. Let's look at this. So you always have number one, Jeff Bezos, right? Billionaires' wealth increased to 10.2 trillion. Amid this quote unquote, can't say that word, get demonetized. Jeff Bezos is the world's richest person. His wealth swelled from 74 billion so far this year. The world's billionaires did extremely well, right? During this pandemic, their wealth grew into huge fortunes. Let's see, they have more than Jeff Bezos. Joseph Stambler, the head of USB Bank, says that the world's richest people in the world did extremely well. Extremely well. So I was hoping that this article shows some more other than, Elon Musk now become the most richest person in the world, passing Bezos, right? So it's quite a long list, people. Not just but those are the two most familiar ones. Bill Gates' wealth increase as well, right? So that's what is referred to as monopoly. So let's get into Dogecoin and silver. Not to compare, but because Elon Musk made a quote that it is the people's money, let's look at Doge real quick. It is now in the top 15, right? In the top 15 of cryptocurrencies, altcoins, and assets. So, Dogecoin, people, there are currently 128 billion Dogecoins right now. It's all about supply and demand. What makes Bitcoin more lucrative, right, is that it has less Bitcoins available. All about supply and demand, just like the US dollar. The more that's distributed within trillions, the less valuable it becomes. So in order for Doge to just reach or a dollar, right, there will have to be, let's look at its market cap. Doge market cap will have to be at $128 billion. Right now, I think the market cap for Doge, what's today? Yeah, February 5th, is at 5 billion, right? So it would have to be at 128 billion. It's currently 990 billion. It has to be at 128 billion market cap just to reach a dollar. So if it gets to 25 cents, right, that's great. If it gets to 25 cents, that's great. Now, the thing about Doge is it has to have some utility or purpose. And I shared a live stream last night showing that Doge is now being added to BitMEX, which is a trading platform. So Doge makes a great trading currency, right? It's great to trade if you are a trader. And it is also great to take your gains out. But Doge is still in the process. Again, it's his top 15, so I wouldn't necessarily refer to it as a shit coin, but it is still in the process of establishing some utilities. Being added to Big Mesh today is a big move to it, and it's also being added to the Flare network, which is also decentralized. Decentralized means simply non-control of the government, more control of for the people network, decentralized currency, right? And not having as much influence and impact by government, such like your cash does at this time. So it is building utility and purpose. I always take my profits out whenever deemed demand, and I do leave some in, and I do have some in. So Dogecoin is on that path. But again, I've always told you, especially currency like Dogecoin, right? The main thing behind Doge right now is the Elon Musk and the notoriety behind it. More publicity is coming to it. Um, my friend guy sent me a text this morning in New York. They had the big billboard. So when Elon Musk, I think, referred to Dogecoin as the people currency, I just think he's just saying people are rallying behind it. It's getting more notoriety, right? Um, and more access in that way. But let's talk about the real people money, which is gold and silver. And if you all are not following Elon Musk and you're interested in Doge on Twitter, you definitely should do this. Also, another person that I love to follow is Kim Kiyosaki, right? She have a post today or tweet today that says saving money should be a short-term proposition. I save money while looking for my next investment. Then I invest the money I've been saving. Why does Kim Kiyosaki say this, people? Because money is the lowest yielding asset it is. I tell people you should only save, or I highly suggest, I don't tell anything, people that you should only save money with the intention of putting it into an asset that will grow it, right? Because the banks have no yield, no payment on savings. So now this is Elon Musk's tweet. Dogecoin is the people's crypto. He did say the people's crypto. He didn't say the people's money. So I will take back that statement that I put. He says the people crypto. One of my favorite memes, right, of him and the Doge, right? So he's saying it's the people crypto. But this is what I want to share with you all about physical silver in particular, because silver is the people's money and gold is the people's money. Always been money since the 1930s, right? It is real money by the Constitution. And that's why whenever we are going or experiencing this great reset, in which we are globally, this will be a global reset. All countries will be on one page, right? Gold and silver has to be used to reset that currency system. We are not at that point yet, right, where it will be used to reset the currency system, but it will be, and especially as the stimulus is created. They're just trying to do away with the fiat currency and just bankrupts it, right? Just bankrupt out the fiat currency, just puts trillions and trillions out there to lower the value with, right? This has to be a process. You do have people, for example, in the elderly community, right? The millennial generation don't have a problem. They're always on their cell phones and apps anyway. But you have other generations as it's going to take time to adjust to this process. But it is already happening. I'm going to show you a video by the World Economic Forum that proves that. So gold and silver has always been the people's money. Now, Dogecoin, would it be the people's crypto? That's still up for discussion. It may be. It is something that I hold, right? It is something that I do have invested in, but I have the foresight and the patience. And I only have money investing in it that, hey, if it doesn't become the crypto, if it's not giving more utility, then I'm fine with whatever the outcome may be. I'm not taking my 401k, or I'm not throwing the bank into Doge. I diversify, right? And that comes from biblical secrets on prosperity in Ecclesiastes, right? In Ecclesiastes, it says you wake up in the morning, right, and diversify because you don't know which will prosper. So I always diversify. I don't put my faith or trust in just one crypto or in one crypto. That's just me, my personal advice. So silver, the return on your investment for silver could be 30 times, right? For example, if you spend 30 ounce or $30 on silver, even if it goes to $100, that's a 70% increase, 30x return, return on your investment. If it goes to $1,000, right, there's even a greater return on the investment. Silver, people, will be used for this New World Order. If you don't know what I mean by New World Order, watch the beginning of this video. I talked about the change and the shifting that we are now going into the fourth industrial revolution. We've been through 3 other revolutions. Silver will not only be used for the 5G towers that has to globally power cryptocurrency for all countries, for 5G towers, 5G Wi-Fi, also for Tesla, electronic vehicle. President Joe Biden just signed a declaration that they will be mandated in the government to drive electronic vehicles. So you have to have the foresight, people, and when it comes to silver, and the patience, right? Yes, Sweet Angel says this will be a new world order, right? So the shortage of silver, and this is why silver now at $30 an ounce versus gold, because it's going to be used twofold, industrial and monetary, right? So you have Tesla, you have phone batteries. Everybody's going to do mobile banking. They're going to have the smartphones. Again, 5G towers, industrial use. JP Morgan, for example, in 2011, hoarded over 350 million ounces of silver. People, that's 38% of the world's population, right? Now, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't even have the fiat currency and gold, and let me tell you something. I showed you all earlier in this video about the ancient Egyptians, 4,500 years studying the power of energy, right? Same thing with gold and silver. It has always been the people's money. It is created by God in cyberspace. I showed you all the fourth industrial revolution would include the cyber world, artificial intelligence, right? Robotics too. You have drones, etc., etc. But gold, for example, is created in the cyberspace and is God's money by a supernova star. And that's how Bitcoin works. And I tell people, God wanted us to be the smaller gods on earth. So when people want to know that if you can't explain how gold is produced, but it's yet a valuable asset, it's a store value like Bitcoin. I don't try to study all the intricate details like who created Bitcoin, who's the Satoshi exactly. You don't understand the wonder workings of how gold and silver is created, but it does. And a lot of people don't understand their infinite power, so it's hard for them to understand cryptocurrency. But all it was a person took God's model and made it into man-made. But God's currency, gold and silver, right, will always be true money. And during the economic reset and depressions and resets and Great Depressions in the 30s, and even now in 2021, and when they made it illegal for citizens to even have or possess physical, not ETFs, physical gold and silver, it has to be. It's what the banks have, central banks. It's what every rich and wealthy person have in their portfolio. It's not a might be, but it has to be used when this global reset and everything is switched to cryptocurrency, aka digital dollar. What are some stocks to research for silver? Again, I don't give financial advice, but I do give financial education and information. Order the silver stacking report on my website, fixmycreditandcash.com. For $35, I have 7 mining silver stocks listed on my silver stacking report that will provide that information. And I also have the Queen of Crypto report. You can invest in one report for $35 or both reports, right? Or both reports for $60, saving you $10 with those purchases. So these are the Queen of Coins, and this is the Cash to Crypto reports. I have 7 mining stocks on there that you can research and look into. This is the Queen of Coins Silver Stacking Report, and at $30 right now, people. And a lot of time, people always ask me this question. They say, well, even if you invest in silver, right, you still gonna have to, in order to get your capital gains, you're still gonna have to then turn that silver back in or resell it back for cash or currency. So what's the point? This is the point. This is the point, right? Gold and silver is insurance, just like cryptocurrency is insurance. What is insurance? Just like you have insurance on your automobile or your body with health insurance, insurance protects you in the event that you are involved in an accident or incident. And in the event that something is totally destroyed or demolished, or your health is demolished or decreased, you have insurance to help you during that time with your financial situation, right? To transition as a result, or to get the medical help that you need, or if your vehicle is totally destroyed in an accident, right? And you have to purchase another one. Well, an insurance keeps your purchasing power so that you can afford medical services or afford to purchase another vehicle that will provide you transportation in order to earn money. The same thing with gold, silver, and cryptocurrency. It's insurance, right? It will protect your purchasing power from devaluating when these prices skyrocket. As prices skyrocket, so will the value and cost of gold and silver, right? The same, I didn't mean to stay on here this long, people. I was supposed to be at the gym. The same amount of silver, I did an illustration that can buy, for example, 10 McDonald's burgers, right? Is the same amount of silver at $30 an ounce can buy or purchase those McDonald's burgers, for example, today. Silver does not, and gold, right, does not lose its purchasing power. I'm not sure if I can find that article, right? It does not lose its purchasing power. I just saw something really, really crazy. McDonald's releases silver burgers. That's crazy. But it does not lose its purchasing power, people. Gold does not lose its purchasing power. So even if you did have to exchange, I don't believe the exchange when these prices skyrocket, right? I don't believe the exchange will be from physical cash. I will believe by the time that people want to resell their gold and or silver, it will be more of a digital cash based system. And that's the only thing that they're waiting on for the price of silver to stop being suppressed, because they need it. It's not a matter of if they're going to need it, it's just going to be a matter of when. Let me further back that information with this video, and then I'm logging off. So understand the market cap of crypto or Dogecoin, what it has to reach. Again, it's at 500. Currently market cap is going to have to reach at least $128 billion of market cap. Like for Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin market cap is at a 704 billion, right? 407 billion. Peace and love. Do you think Biden's striving to get rid of the credit bureaus and turn cash into crypto? Current, you're right about the gold never loses its value. Yes, credit and the stock market will be on blockchain technology, which is inclusive of the cryptocurrency technology. So yes, I do. So this is from the World Economic Forum, right? A video that's talking about crypto art and wealth creation with space as art is changing. Let's listen to this video, World Economic Forum, how the world economies are shaping and forming together. And this is the role that cryptocurrency is playing.
Blockchain technology is not just coming, it's already here. Blockchain technology is going to redistribute power in society, and I think companies that are not paying attention to that redistribution will be left on the cutting room floor. There's a common misconception in the business community that blockchain is a highly risky technology. It is true, it's a nascent technology, it's in the early stages. However, there are incremental ways of deploying the technology, for example, via supply chain deployments, or in kind of back operations or back office ways that carry a lot less risk and allow engagement with the technology in a way that makes you more familiar with it. What we're trying to do in our work is identify gaps in governance that are impeding the adoption of this technology. And we're looking at projects that will help minimize the risks of the technology and really focus on its potential for financial inclusion and for betterment of society altogether. It's not really important that you understand how blockchain works. It matters that you know what it's for. It matters that you know what it's not for. And it matters that you know how to get from the place you are now to a place where you're using it seamlessly and frictionlessly in your own systems. We are anchoring our projects on what the technology actually is useful for, what is fitness for purpose, and how can we create policies that accelerate the adoption of the technology for those purposes, but also impede its adoption purposes that are not really right for it. We're looking sector by sector at public-private partnership models that can really facilitate the use of the technology for social benefit. So as an example, our project located in Colombia is focusing on reducing corruption in public procurement. What we're doing is we're actually launching a blockchain-backed system that can accept bids for government contracts. And we're looking at if we educate the population and civil society organizations, the media, and others about what information goes to the system, could that actually call out corruption earlier and in fact disincentivize corrupt actors from even accessing the system in the first place?
Okay, so this is the World Economic Forum, but the main thing I wanted to share with you all, World Economic Forum, is what she said in the opening statement of this video, so I'm going to replay it.
Blockchain technology is not just coming, it's already here.
Blockchain technology is not just coming, people, it's already here. It's already here. That's the World Economic Forum, right? I'm signing out. I love this learn and lunchtime, right? You all have a great, great, great day. I'm on my way to the gym to take care of my physical health. I may go live later on this evening or tonight. I don't know. I'm impromptu. So just make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and right next to that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button as well. Yes, solar stocks. Look into solar stocks, but just know the stock market and the credit market is going to be on blockchain, and some big changes are coming. So I highly advise that you prepare yourself accordingly, your 401ks and pensions as well. Here's to your health and your wealth, your peace and prosperity, your credit and your cash flow. Queen of credit out. You all have a great afternoon.